Are you ready? The Kornelia Stephanie Show. Wake up to love, your call to action. Join Kornelia as she empowers others to live heaven on earth. Kornelia teaches listeners how to be the authority over yourself, embracing your inner guru. Feel yourself uplifted into limitless expansion, integrating ease and grace in a changing world. This show will cover topics such as unconditional love, your physical body, how to be in extraordinary relationships, create financial and emotional wealth, embracing entrepreneurship in the new earth.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Kornelia Stephanie Show. Stories of Hope today. I'm super excited to introduce you to another person by the name of Stephanie. So
Wonderful.
My last name is Stephanie and your first name is Stephanie Zito. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. So glad to be here. Yeah, I've seen Stephanie as first name, but it's new to me to see it as your last name. I love it.
Thank you. So Stephanie was actually my middle name, but I dropped my maiden name because the higher self had recommended that back in 2015 or something to drop that name and just go by my middle name as the last
aligned.
name. So isn't that cool? So, but let me introduce you to the audience. You know, I want to talk about your bio a little bit. So you are an intuitive soul purpose coach who sees right through the stories and blocks that holds clients back from the success that they desire. Through intuitive insight and channeling their soul guides, you help clients take quantum leaps and make the shifts to make the decision for their life so that they can experience freedom and happiness. You're also a certified yoga and meditation instructor, and you use the power of yoga and breath work and meditation as transformative tools for your clients. I love that so much. You're a transformational speaker, transformative speaker, and also you're an entrepreneur and a podcast host of This Passionate Life. Your mission is to help 1 million people, love that, find their inner spark and freedom and healing that comes with following their intuition. Welcome to the show today.
Thank you for having me.
So, yeah, it's so great. So everything that you're doing today, you know, you've graduated to this place that you're here, and now you're really utilizing all of your gifts, everything that you've learned, all your healing modalities, your spiritual work, everything that you've learned in your own life. But there was a beginning.
There sure was.
There was a beginning. There was like a knock, knock, and maybe it was some sort of a jolt or something. But how did you get started?
Yes. Well, did you ever have someone just believe something in you that you just couldn't see in yourself? You know, I work with a lot of women who just are sort of feeling into that self-belief and trust. And years ago, a very good friend of mine who has now passed and is now my guide in the afterlife, told me she saw me working with intuition as my work. And I literally laughed out loud. I was like, that sounds great, but we'll just see. And the story I'm going to tell you is kind of about that journey. So about 15 years ago, I was driving my Ford Explorer across country to leave my life I had for a new life with my boyfriend at the time in Kentucky. And I was arguing with him on the phone as I was driving through Wyoming, and I hit black ice, and my Ford Explorer spun around 1, 2, 3 times, like slow motion. If you've ever been in a car wreck, you can know how it feels like, well, is this going to end? Like me down an embankment? Like what am I choosing here? What's happening here? Is this my life? My phone flew to the floor. I screamed, and the car stopped facing backwards on that lone highway. There was no one around, maybe some tumbleweeds and some black ice. I hit a guardrail, and I could see inches away was the embankment I could have easily gone down for no other reason. And in that moment, I heard a voice say, "You can turn around. You don't have to keep going." And I was like, that sounds nice, but I'm going to keep driving. And I know in that moment, I was hearing my guardian angels, I was hearing my highest self tell me the truth. And yet at that time, I was scared. I didn't see the way for myself. I didn't trust myself. There were so many beliefs about myself that were holding me back. I didn't believe there was a relationship after this. I didn't believe someone could love me after this. The real truth that I got to later with a coach was self-love. It was really loving myself enough to trust. So long story short, made it to Kentucky, started my life with this boyfriend, and it wasn't working. And so many signs were showing me that I wasn't sleeping well at night. He gave me melatonin. I'm like, thank you. This is kind of, we're co-creating this, but thank you for the melatonin. And I was crying a lot. I'm a pretty happy person. So all this was really out of character. I was so off sync, so out of center, so off track, so not following my intuition. He would make stiff drinks at night. So I was drinking hard alcohol frequently. Just so many things were off track. And I surrendered and I got a coach, a somatic coach who really helped save my life. She helped me to learn the pieces where I was not loving myself. She helped me learn what my intuition really was, which I'd always had, and come back to a place of trusting it so I could make the choice months later to leave that relationship, to let go, to surrender, to trust, and to get really clear on what I really, really did want, very clear. And I will tell you, once I made that choice, I was like, this is me. This is me. This is what I stand for. So many things shifted. The synchronicities showed up to guide me, to open the way. I just had to be open to it. So I drove cross country in a different car because that one was totaled, to California. I stayed with a friend who was just, again, a synchronistic, just sort of angel on earth to provide me with housing. I got my dream job. I started my yoga teacher training. I met my now husband through some things falling away that weren't meant to happen, and through me saying yes moment after moment to the synchronicities, to the right timing, to what I was meant to do. And so I guess like my three real takeaways from this, which have now led me to a place where I sit here working the hours I want, really helping transform lives by helping women to see the things that are blocking them from past childhood, from past lives, from ancestral sort of DNA, and energetically helping to release and clear them. It's through me saying yes time and time again when I didn't know the exact way things were going to end. I didn't know exactly how it was going to work out. I invested money in myself that I had to trust I would make back tenfold or more, and just say yes over and over again through, one, trusting my intuition. Secondly, really allowing myself to get guidance from my soul guides, from my team, from my guardian angels, listening when someone tells you, you can turn around, you don't have to go. And then thirdly, with really getting clear, that to me is like the big piece of manifesting, is that inner clarity. And when we see that little thing come up that butt, allowing ourselves to clear that in some way. And so the question that I really love to ask my clients, and even myself at times, because fears can always come up no matter what level we get to, is what do you need to believe to feel safe to do the thing it is you say you want to do? So that's kind of my story of transformation. And
I just want to say, I mean, let's say that statement again, say that question again, and then let's take a moment and let it land. So speak it again, please.
What do you need to believe to feel safe to do the things you say you want to do?
And each person knows what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Each person can look inside, and the inner guidance is going to come out, and it's going to know what it is. And I need to go this direction. I need to go here. I need to say no to this. I need to do this. And then the other thing is making a call to message Stephanie and hire her as your coach, because she's going to help you to release those old patterns and those blocks, the sabotage, because the sabotage is big.
Mm-hmm.
That, it's like the part that we're always using that sabotage so that we can stay hidden and that we can stay small. And that's keeping us from our future self, from the life that we want to really live. I just want to tell you, Stephanie, you're dynamic. You're an amazing speaker. You had me hanging on every word. No filler words. No filler words. Must be that amazing yoga training, speaker, teacher training. What kind of yoga do you teach?
Well, currently I teach on an app called Insight Timer, and it's a slow flow. I mean, I have gone through speaker training, but beyond that, there's so much where I channel from my guides. I channel from my clients, and so yeah, there tends to be no filler words.
That's, it's clear, it's direct, it's wonderful, and I can see how you can support your clients to help them clear all of those blocks because you're clear.
Thank you. It means a lot to me. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. And actually, I want to talk to you again outside of this. It's great that you're already in an app, but I also have an app. We have the KS Media Group app, and that is the new house. And basically, the new house is where I feature world's leading expert on entrepreneurs, coaches, small business consultings that are experts in their field to come in and offer their level of expertise to our community and the people that we serve. We don't have a yoga person. We don't have a person and I've been calling in the fitness people because we have a lot of entrepreneurs that are, that are amazing, but we don't have the physical body fitness, yoga, fitness weights, what we do every single day so that we can close that gap with not taking care of our bodies to taking care of our bodies.
And you know what? I'll tell you, if you are sitting there listening to this and you feel like you're just cycling with some thought in your mind, guess what? Move your body. The type of yoga that I teach, I bring in affirmations. It's a thematic class, and we're always I bring in the coaching. It's like the merging of the mind and body. So we get those affirmations to help us support us do the things we say we want to do and get the intuition downloads. It's the downloads you get in the shower or when you're doing something more mindless. We need that space.
Do you do this online?
Yes.
Good. So you do it online and also on an app. And then, of course, when you and I talk, I want you to come into our community and teach it to our community as well.
I'd be thrilled to do that.
Yeah. So what I want you all to do right now is I want you to go, first of all, everyone, download the app at KS. Go to the App Store, Play Store, download KS Media, MEDIA Group, and download that. Create your free account. Get your free ebook. And, check out the directories, and then you're going to see all the world's best leading influencer. But we also have the universal question that we pose to the public every single week so that you can journal your own private answers, only that you can see in the app. And we want you to be a part of it. So this is such a fabulous community of coaches and entrepreneurs that are helping you to create your best life now. So you have to go get the app. But where can people find you, Stephanie Zito? Where can they find the yoga? Where can they, follow you on social media?
Yeah, you can find the yoga on this app that I am also on called Insight Timer. It's a meditation app, and I teach live sessions there. So live coaching, yoga, meditation, I'm on that app. You can always go to my website, Stephanie Zito, and I like to post yoga and inspirational things on my YouTube channel too, which is also Stephanie Zito when you go to YouTube.
Good. I'm so glad I met you. I'm so glad you came to the show. We'll be in touch.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for coming and doing this good work that you're doing here to make our world a better place. We appreciate you. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in. We'll see you again next time. Take care. Namaste. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Kornelia Stephanie Show, Stories of Hope. I'm with Morgan Patricio.
That's correct.
Patricio. Oh, I always love it when I can say people's names. So you're not from America, but
I am.
You are from America.
Yes.
But you're not living in America.
No, I'm currently living in Portugal. And Patricio is my married name. I married a Portuguese man. So
Okay, so you're currently in Portugal, and so what time is it over there right now?
it is 6:30 at night.
Okay. So I don't you just love technology, how that works out?
So great. It makes the world so small.
It really does. It really does that we can be with each other at this time. It's magical. So I'm excited. You're an American, you're living in Portugal, and we are here to have an amazing conversation with you today about how you help people and how you serve. You have a background in Western sciences and a degree in traditional Chinese medicine, and
Mhm.
you're an integrative certified nutrition coach, and you're currently working as a fertility coach.
Yeah.
That's really cool. You're helping women get pregnant.
Yes.
Great. So that's what you're doing now. How did you get started
It
in
is a long story, but it's a fun one. Um, so we can start kind of like with the Western sciences. I guess I was always just knew I wanted to be in science. I wanted to be in medicine. I wanted to help. It was just kind of a calling of mine when I was younger. And so I just started pursuing that, going to school. And when I was 23, I got diagnosed with an autoimmune disorder, multiple sclerosis.
um,
And it was a really, really debilitating case. They actually considered me disabled. They said, probably won't work. Kids, most likely not. It wasn't progressive MS, but it was just a very severe onset. Um, and that was terrifying. That was a big shock at 23 to take in all of that. Um, and I get asked a lot, but I think it was beyond the stage of grief. It was more than disbelief. There was something inside of me that just was like, hey, that just doesn't feel right for me. And so I started pursuing other things, and I found an acupuncturist, and he practiced traditional Chinese medicine.
mm,
And the way that that changed my life was so incredible. Um, I actually, regained my health over a certain amount of time and integrated a lot of things. And so that's where I got my degree into it. Went on to school and thought I would help that way, give back. But one thing I realized is that women who are having a hard time, or couples even, conceiving, I could figure out how to change the physiology in them the way that I changed in myself. So it was a really powerful bit.
so are you healed from multiple
I am.
sclerosis?
Sclerosis. It's a hard one to say. I don't. I consider myself healed. My last neurologist has said she's willing to consider the case benign because after every imaging that we've done, there's less lesions. They're not active. They're smaller than they were, which is not typical behavior for MS. Typically those lesions stay. Maybe you get a new one. You have a relapse 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. But I really attribute that to more like lifestyle practices and mindset shifts and implementing meditation, various things that I've picked up over the years. Just being really conscientious of what am I thinking about? What are my thought processes? How am I reacting to life
So
more than anything?
basically, do you now believe, now that you know how energy works, that
Hmm.
the disease that was in the body before with multiple sclerosis, that then once the pressure was relieved through acupuncture and then through your own inner self healing and your own care with your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, and everything that you're doing, would you say that is actually you healed it at the root,
Hmm.
and now because you're conscious and aware, you're not suppressing any emotions of so now there's a new DNA, a new template being played out. Would you say that is true?
I would agree. And I think in that, along with it was just such a wake up call for me, right? Like it was
Yeah.
put in my path to listen to what I was really doing with my life and to what I was really thinking and how I was such a creator of my world without having such a radical call. I might have just dismissed it one way or another and just kind of, pursued down my path of medicine. But I don't have any fear that that pressure is going to come back because I really feel that DNA is different. Um,
Yeah, I
I
think,
feel those
you know,
feelings. Mhm.
that's a really important piece. Like, I don't have any pressure. I don't have any fear that it's going to come back. I
Mhm.
think that's an important piece when we heal from a major illness like you did, and then you don't have the belief or even the feeling, even though, you know, Western medicine tells you it could come back, it might come back or whatever, but that you're with your healing that you've done and with your ability now that you're like, no, I don't have that fear. So you're not being paralyzed by that fear. It's not waking you up in the middle of the night, and it's not stopping you from living your life full out.
No, it's not, and I have 2 young boys, and I can keep up with them, and um, it's really nice not having that kind of ghost back there, so to speak, because I really feel now if something creeps up in life and was a stressful situation or something, I'm really conscious about how I approach it in my thoughts, in my behavior, and things like that, that I know it just won't manifest the same.
Yeah, I think that is really what a gift. Wouldn't
Yeah,
you
it really
say
was.
what a
Oh,
huge gift?
yeah, looking back, it was a tremendous gift. At the time, it was really scary and terrible, but such a gift, and now I can help other women and couples, but mostly women kind of put these pieces together for themselves.
So when people are contacting you, like how they're contacting you because they are recovering from an illness, they're in process, they've just gotten a diagnosis. How does that work?
Yeah, interesting. When I was in the States, I had my acupuncture clinic, and really everybody that came through the door was, I've tried everything else. Why not? And they really, it's not that they even had faith or belief that I could help them. They had been through everything, and maybe a cousin or a sister had suggested, hey, try this acupuncturist. And really, acupuncture is magic medicine, but really it's just the holistic approach that it gives. I would be in a treatment room with them for 45 minutes to an hour, as opposed to their Western doctor, maybe 15 minutes, right? And so we were looking at all of these aspects of their life, not just how it was manifesting in their body. And they really got to see great changes of that. So I was really got the tricky cases that nobody else had answers for. And you can
Good.
provide some relief.
I
Yeah.
actually know of a woman that's trying to get pregnant. She came on the Stories of Hope, and
Yeah.
we actually have another call scheduled, I think, in like a month or so, because amazing, amazing guest. They're trying to get pregnant. I think what I'm going to do is put you in contact with her.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
I'm going to put you in contact because I think the two of you could help her, because I don't know, they're trying to get pregnant. They haven't been able
Yeah.
to. And maybe the conversation that you have with her is going to put her on the right track.
I would hope so. That would be really lovely. I find oftentimes with couples struggling with infertility, sometimes it's not just a physical thing, right? We have to figure out, where have we blocked this creative energy in our life? Where am I not allowing myself to express myself creatively, whether in my work, whether in my life, whether in my job? Because that energy is sort of the same as making a baby. So really looking at all aspects can be really
That's so good.
interesting.
I mean, back in the day when I really wanted to have children, because that was
Mhm.
always something that I wanted. And that you would have been like the perfect person for me.
Aw.
So I think this is really important, what you're doing, the work that you're doing, because again, giving birth to the future leaders on this planet, what greater.
Yeah, that gives me chills. It's such an honor to be a part, because like you said, when you really wanted to have children, it's that knowing inside of you, right? You just know you want children.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
and you have this whole design about how to move them forward as a future generation. To make that work for somebody is really a gift, to be able to help them in that process.
So what's your mission right now? Your mission is education. Are because you're coming here on the podcast, you're in Portugal. How can, like, do you work with people overseas, or how do
So
you?
right now, yeah, it kind of came up against that. I was hoping to have a practice here, and I just kind of archaic. I've gone through every hoop, every class, every done the language, everything, and I just can't get a license to work here. So I thought, what am I going to do? So I took the certificate for coaching, and so I mishmash my knowledge into the guise of coaching for fertility coaching. So I'm doing everything via Zoom right now.
Oh,
Um, that was my way forward from a brick wall. I thought, I can't give up my trade. What am I going to do?
Right.
It's my passion. It's not just because I work so hard. It's my passion. So I'm working with clients online now. So working with couples one-on-one. And right now I really want to get a sense of what women want. I'm always about education, but I'm really playing around with some master classes idea, learning body basics. We don't really know the basics of our body when it comes to fertility and that journey. So I'm always putting out education and always welcoming clients. So right now I'm kind of trying a little bit of everything.
Well,
to
and I
see.
think it's fabulous that you're doing that, because a lot of people, when like you can't practice there, and then it's like, what am I going to do? And then you all of a sudden became the solution. I am the solution. I have the resources. I am the resource. And look at what you're doing, and now you're doing this, and that's going to expand, and that's going to grow. Give us your social media handles where people can look you up.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm on Facebook, and I'm Lavender Wellness and Apothecary.
How do they say your name? Because people are listening.
It's Morgan Patricio. And on Instagram, my website is Lavender Wellness and Apothecary. And so my handle in Instagram is Lavender Wellness _Apothecary. Yeah. And I'm always giving away free information. There's all sorts of downloadables. There's all sorts of takeaways and freebies. I love education. So
yeah, that's what I figured you were doing, that you were educating. Actually, I want to talk to you again. I want to set up another appointment to have Ashley to set it up for us, where you and I can talk about you coming into and being featured in our world's leading influencer app that features the world's best practitioners from around the world, that is helping people in alternative medicine, but also coaching and life coaching and everything wellness that has to do with the body, entrepreneurship and all of that. So I want to talk to you about that. But for the audience, we want the audience to go download the app. So go to your app store, your Play Store, and download KS Media, MEDIA group, and download that app, create your free account, and you're going to download that free ebook. You're going to get a free ebook for signing up. And then we pose the universal question every single week to you in our community. We have a private journal that you can use to journal your answers, to go deeper within and look at what you want to create in your life in 2022, and really start now, because by the end of, we're just beginning in 2022. Where are you going to be at the end of 2022 with what it is that you're creating? So we have a fantastic, beautiful app. We have an amazing community where people are sharing their podcasts, their tips, their articles on living well, living healthy. Why not live to be into our hundreds? Because back in the day, we used to. And if we're living longer now, and if we're healing the diseases, the emotional traumas of our past, then there is no reason why we can't live longer and, do amazing things with our consciousness and our physicality. Don't you think?
100% agree. And we're moving forward. We can live those longer years with quality now, because we've healed those traumas and that past grief and whatever. We can really have quality years in front of us still.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Well, how old are your boys?
4 and 2. So they keep me busy.
Yeah, keeping you busy. 2 boys. Woo. Yeah.
Yes.
2 boys and a husband. Well, I'll make 3 boys. 3 boys.
Yeah, really. And the oldest is the most problem, right?
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Morgan. It was wonderful to have you on, and I know we're going to see you again.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening, everyone. We'll see you again. Take care. Bye-bye. Everyone, welcome to the Kornelia Stephanie Show. It's an honor and a pleasure to be with you. Stories of Hope today, and I'm with Allison Finley. Welcome, Allison.
Thank you. I'm so grateful to be here.
It's so awesome to be here with you today. I'm excited because we actually were going to meet earlier, and then we had a little snafu, and here we are. The beauty of technology, and we're able to make it work, and we may even be able to squeeze a couple more minutes in there. So it's wonderful to have you. So let's tell the audience a little bit about what it is that you do. So you are a natural intuitive, you're an energy coach, you're a healer, you're a medium, you're also an entrepreneur, you're an RN and an energy teacher, and you had an awakening in 2014 that set you on a wild journey of deep healing and transformation. You're a registered nurse with a bachelor's degree, and you spent most of your nursing career in the ICU and hospice setting. Wow. So ICU, lots of trauma, hospice, lots of loss, lots of death and dying, all training you to be the energy, medicine, amazing woman that you are today, helping people.
Yes, yes. It's been a wild ride for sure.
So yeah, so you were a nurse. Obviously, you went into the nursing early on. Like, how long ago were you a nurse for?
Yeah, so I've actually been a nurse. I'm still technically a nurse. I don't work as a nurse anymore, but I do keep my license up. But I graduated college in 2013, and that's when I started my nursing career in 2013.
Oh, in 2013. So you started the nursing career in 2013 because now you're working with angels, ascended masters, and all, now it's a whole thing. So I just want to set it up. The awakening, the great awakening that's happening here on the planet now is extraordinary, so that we can all be in our gifts and live to be into our hundreds, because we can. So, but going back to, 2013, you were going through nursing to get your nursing degree and going through that. And in 2014, you had the awakening.
Yes, yes. So I mean, I was in school for 4 years leading up to 2013, and things built, then. But when I got in the hospital and I started practicing as a nurse, I worked nights, and you know how crazy nights can be, right? It's a spiritual time. And so my spiritual gifts started to come back online actually at that time, and because the energy in the hospital is so intense that I kind of didn't know what was happening, right? Like it was kind of wild, like all of the spiritual gifts coming back. And then it took me about a year. I was just super out of alignment with where I was. I was not in a positive environment. I was not doing what my soul called me to do. And it took about a year, but I hit this really dark place where my anxiety and depression got so bad that I actually, I had kind of an out of body experience when I was assaulted by a patient at the bedside, where my body kind of just left, or my spirit kind of left my body. And when my spirit came back into my body, I felt this pain that was so deep that I just was like, I can't do this anymore. I've got to do something else with my life. And I actually was kind of suicidal at that time. And so I ended up, after that event, just quitting my job, decided that I was going to figure out life. I was going to find my alignment. And I went on a missions trip at the time, actually. And on that trip, it was, we were down the Nile River, and I had this kind of spiritual experience where I just cried out to God, the universe. And I was like, I need help. I need help. Right. I don't know what to do. I feel like I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to be doing, at the time. And I just, at that moment, it was like the universe spoke to me and was like, forget everything that you think you know. Forget all of the, rules and your conditioning and who the world says spirit is, or God. I was raised religious. So it was kind of really getting out of that religious paradigm. And when I got back from that trip, I just decided, like, I'm starting from scratch. I'm going to face every fear. I'm going to question everything. I'm going to follow my heart and my soul, even if other people are saying it's not right. I need to tap into my soul. And I just trusted that the universe was going to give me the next right step. And that's really been my journey over 8 years, is not what am I doing in a year or 2 years from now, but what's my next right step? And how can I be faithful with taking that step? And then the universe will show me what the next right step is, right? And staying present in this moment and being my best self now along the journey, and really enjoying the journey in the process.
I think you just gave away the secrets of the universe.
Oh, yeah.
I really do. I feel like, what you just said in the last 5 minutes, that is the gold. That is the gold. It is the way. Everything you talked about, from, not knowing what to do, to going to completely surrender and say, I need help. That right there, where you're like, I have no idea. I had suicidal thoughts and I just didn't know, but I know that I wanted to figure it out. I was willing to look at whatever this nightmare is, and you did that, right? You did that. You were willing. You surrendered your whole being to the divine. And then what you said about not the future, but the next right step.
Yeah.
So you've had how many years of the next right step?
8 years.
Yeah, and so you've had a magnificent life, haven't you? In
Yes.
that, I mean, not to say that it wasn't challenging.
Yes, I know. I wish I could say I got back from that trip and everything was magical, right?
Yeah.
It's so
Yeah.
funny. I got back from that trip and I had this moment, this very sobering moment where I was like, nothing in my life is working. My relationships aren't working. I had an eating disorder at the time. I was out of touch with my true, authentic, self in the universe. I was very much in a lot of rules and heaviness there. And it was like my career, my purpose, everything was off. And I just had to be like, okay, what's the low hanging fruit? What can I address right now and trust that I'll get to the other things when that's time? And for me, that was my eating disorder and physical health, right? And I think it's I'm so grateful that I was so intuitive to know that, because without our physical health, really, a lot of those other things can't be built upon, right? Like we might not have the energy for our career or our relationships if we're not physically in a good place where we have enough energy and alignment there. So I think for our listeners, like, if you don't know what to do, just tuning into your heart and saying, what's the next right step? And then be faithful to take it and trust that. And when you get there, you'll know the next right thing to do, right? And that's really our path. And if we can just not wait to be happy for the future, I think that's the key too of the present moment, right? Like, not I'll be happy when I manifest this relationship, or I'll be happy when I land this amount of money or this career, but like, how can we really embrace and enjoy and celebrate life now and be faithful with what we have now on the journey, on the way to where we're going, right? And what we're calling in.
Yeah, that's so powerful, Allison. Everything that you're talking about, the next right step, right away, I'm thinking, that needs to be on a t-shirt, that needs to be on the Oracle cards, that needs to be on a bumper sticker, that's the brand. It needs to be the next right step in the sky. It just needs to be, that needs to be it. It's a beautiful, it's the freedom. It's the next right step. That's it. And the way you guided the audience to look within, like tuning in and finding out what's the next right step. What is it that I can do right now? And you also said, the number one thing that we all need to do, our wealth is in our health. And if we're not healthy, and if we're not feeling good in our physical body, and we're not feeling well, that's where we have to start. That's the number one job. Because from that place of healthiness and well-being, that's what you're going to build upon. But also, the other thing I loved about what you said, Allison, is you went and brought God back into your life from the religious programming that you had had. A whole nother show.
Yeah. Oh, that's a show.
Show. Well, you went and brought God back in because you said, hey, wait a minute. And so then, but it wasn't what you were taught as Christianity or religion. You had to have a personal, intimate experience with God, who you are today. And that's why the voice said, forget about everything you've learned. Right, because what we've learned in church or in our communities or whatever may not be true for us today, and that's the energy that you were needing. Isn't that right?
Yes. And I think the biggest thing was like, in that moment, the universe was kind of like, trust you, because we have been programmed in religious and in other just society that we give our power away, right? We're like, some other expert knows what we need. The pastor knows what we need. Someone else knows more than me. And I think what the universe was really guiding me to was come back home to you. What feels good to you? What feels aligned to you? What feels right and real and true to you? And pursuing that, one of my first modalities that I did for my own personal healing was hypnosis. And I was raised that was so evil and so bad. And it helped me heal so much, but I had to get over so much fear that I was like, okay, I feel fear, but I feel like my spirit is guiding me to this. So it's like separating what is the fear programming versus like, what is my spirit really guiding me towards, right? That intuition, that discernment, and reconnecting with that part of yourself.
Yeah. So now today you're helping people. So you said you're still a nurse, you're still doing that level of work. Are you also coaching and helping others in that way as well?
I do. I don't work as a nurse. I do just keep my license up. These are interesting times where nurses are needed.
Oh, that's true.
Always
That's
just
true.
keep that door open.
Yeah.
But yes, I kind of have two sides to my business. I teach energy work. So for light workers and people who are kind of have woken up spiritually, and people who are wanting to add the energy work tools to their business or to their life. I teach people how to do that. And then I also have where I hold the space and do spiritual coaching as well as mindset, and kind of do a mix of all of the tools, all of the energy work, all of the things to kind of create a container for someone to heal and go to their next level, whatever they might need.
Good. That's so great. That's so great. I love both of those. Love that you're keeping your license, and also, because you went through that for a reason, even the hospice training, in order to do energy work, we have to know how to deal with the loss of life. We have to be able to really know how to work with those kinds of energies, which it really is part of life. So how can people find you on social media? Give us all the handles.
All the details. Okay, well, on Facebook and Instagram, it's Allison Hope Finley. And I also have my website, which is AllisonFinley.com. And then I also have a podcast as well. It's just a solo podcast, and it's inspired by spirit. It's just whenever spirit gives me a download, I just share it on the podcast. It's very just kind of energy tips and ideas and things to expand you and to connect with spirit. So that's called Energetic Sovereignty, and that is on Apple Podcast and Spotify. So website, social media, and the podcast, that's where you can find me.
Love the podcast of Energetic Sovereignty. This is our time to be in our sovereignty, to live in our sovereignty. I love that work that you're doing. I'm so glad that you had your, come to Jesus moment. I know you understand what I'm talking about. So that's wonderful. And I'm so glad, Allison, that you came on. I want to also invite you to come back for another conversation with me privately, because I want to invite you into our app community. We have an app, the KS Media Group app, the new house. And basically what it is, we are featuring the world's best leading influencers, entrepreneurs, small business consultants, to their leading experts in the field of expertise that they are, so that they can serve the world where they are. And the people are on their phones. And so having an app, we pose the universal question each week to the public so that they can create their best life using journaling. I want to talk to you about that. But let's go, everyone. Go download the KS Media, MEDIA Group app from your iStore, Apple phone, and then also the Play Store, and then create your free account, get your free ebook, and come and join our community. And it's fabulous. So we want to thank Allison Finley for being on the Kornelia Stephanie Show today, Stories of Hope. Thank you for the good work that you're doing. And thanks everybody for listening and tuning in.
Thank you. Such a pleasure to be joining you.
Thank you.
You've been listening to the Kornelia Stephanie Show, Wake Up to Love, your call to action. Tune in each week on Transformation Talk Radio. Kornelia's joy is to engage others in practical ways, showing us how to live in the new earth in harmony with our true nature. For more information on Kornelia and her extraordinary work, or to listen to past shows, go to her website at korneliastephanie.com.